Hi everyone. For my wildcard project, I decided to take a look at two different online lesson plan generators. I did create a Google Doc and an infographic with information comparing and contrasting both tools that I'm going to talk about today, but I thought a screencast might be helpful in learning a little bit more about the tools and how they're used. So I will quickly share just a bit about each tool. This first one is called OSSE. You can see the full name up here is quite lengthy. However, I'm just going to refer to it by the acronym. When you create an account, which you can just log in with an existing Gmail, then you can choose from creating either an ELA/literacy lesson plan or a math plan. And you can see here on this tab, it will show you that I have no ELA lesson plans yet, but I do have a math plan because I chose to create a first grade edition math lesson plan for my wildcard for both generators so that I could kind of compare the two. So you can see that the date I created it, and then I can either view, edit, or delete. When I go ahead and click on view, you can see that it gives me a completed lesson plan here. So I thought I'd just do an overview of how I got to this particular point. So if you wanted to create a lesson plan from scratch, then you could click on either to plan your lessons for ELA literacy or math. I chose math. You can title your lesson plan here and then select your grade and this conceptual category. I chose number and quantity. Just depends on what you are doing. And then a unique feature of this lesson plan is that the standards are all embedded. So you can actually go ahead and choose the domain, which essentially is the lesson plan's standard grouping. It is included with Common Core standards. So if you're using something else, just keep that in mind. And then you can, from there, go ahead and select which standard you are using. And you can also then add in learning targets that get at that particular standard. Something else unique is that you can go ahead and load in UDL or Universal Design for Learning Principles within here. So whatever kind of fits your lesson best, you can select one of these checkpoints. And from there, once you have saved all of that, you can go ahead and edit each of these 5 E sections: engage, explain, evaluate, explore, elaborate. And there's also some other tabs, including this overall objective spot, an area for materials, notes, and then specific modifications or accommodations. You can also embed videos in here and upload images or documents, which I think is really nice. And you can save and continue to edit at any time. So to give you guys an overview, this is what my completed lesson plan looked like from OSSE. I go into some more detail in the Google Doc, but you can see that it included all the learning targets. It also put in my standards and some vocabulary terms to know. It gave me some teaching suggestions, and then if you continue to scroll, you can see this is where all of the text that I preloaded ends up. So going over to the other lesson plan generator I took a look at, Teachnology. This one is called Lesson Plan Maker, and you can see that this template is set up similar in that there are text boxes that you can load with your own content. I loaded both of these lesson plan generators with the same text because I wanted it to essentially be able to compare and contrast the two tools to see how they looked differently and things like that. So I did put the same goals, objectives, and overall steps in each one. It just kind of took a minute to figure out how the sections compared. For example, you can see that on Teachnology, they don't use the 5E model. They just use a simple introduction, development of concept, practice, and a check for understanding format, which is a bit more standard in most lesson plans. There's also a spot on this one where you can add in teacher reflections, which I think is really, really nice. Reflection is a huge part of teaching and making sure that you know where to take your lessons next. So this is what the generator looks like. Again, you can add in your grade level, subject, all of that, but something to keep in mind with the Teachnology Lesson Plan Maker is that it does not come preloaded with standards. So what I did was I just went in and looked at my existing lesson plan. that I had taught my class previously, and I matched it up with obviously the standard that I use. So you would have to go ahead and pull up your state standards and find the one that matches. And this was the area of standards that I was focusing on in this particular lesson for a first grade class. So this is what my Teachnology lesson plan looked like. As you can see, I can also download this as a PDF. This lesson plan does come out looking pretty basic. You can see that the font is just kind of a standard Times New Roman. It's also a little bit small, and it can be a little difficult to tell where one section starts and stops. However, keep in mind that you can really customize any aspect of this. As you can see, the text boxes are pretty much just a blank, clean slate for you to start with. There is no spot for you to add in or embed any digital tools or links, so just keep that in mind. You would have to keep those open on another tab on your computer if you were choosing to share them with the class via smartboard or something like that. And then the teacher reflection would just be essentially a blank space down here that you can make notes in after the lesson. You can also preload your own vocabulary terms in this tool right here under the content spot, which I found really nice because you can really just focus in on the terms that students need to know for that particular lesson, whereas the OSSE lesson plan pre-populated the lesson plan just with a bunch of terms that fit within the standard. So all of those can't necessarily be met in one lesson. However, with the Teachnology one, you can just select which ones you are really focused on. One other thing to keep in mind with Teachnology is that you cannot save the lesson plan, so you kind of need to complete this all in one shot, and then you'll have to download it like I did and save as a PDF. But overall, those were the two tools that I took a look at. I think they're both really beneficial to teachers that are looking for a way to organize their lesson plans in a more professional looking way, and also they both have websites where you can go ahead and take a look at some existing lesson plans if you wanted to kind of up your game or get some new ideas, or if you're really on a time crunch, you can go through here and type in essentially the grade that you're looking for and things like that, and choose from there. And you can see on Teachnology on their main website, just like OSSE had, there's some printables and some lesson plans that you can choose from just depending on the subject that you choose. So that's just an overview of my wildcard, but again, make sure to check out my Google Doc for more specific information on each tool and to use the infographic for some more help in comparing and contrasting the two. Thanks for watching.